Samech He Amud Bet by the Mishnah. So we're going to Be'ezras Hashem finish the parak today. So new Mishnah says the Mishnah Ha'ish mitzuveh al pirya v'rivya aval lo ha'isha. The man has a commandment to fulfill pirya v'rivya, but not the woman. Rabbi Yochanan ben Beroka omer al shenehem hu omer. Rabbi Yochanan ben Beroka says the pasuk is talking about both of them, and it says Vayvarech otam Elokim vayomer lahem or vayomer alehem peru urvu. So he says that it's both the man and the woman that has the mitzvah, because if you read the pasuk, a simple understanding of the pasuk is Hashem is talking to both of them, to Adam and Chava. Hashem gives them a bracha, and He says to both of them peru urvu. So machlokes in the Mishnah is pirya v'rivya mitzvah only for the man. That's the opinion of the Tana Kama. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Beroka holds no, it's for the man and the woman. They each have a mitzvah. So says the Gemara, Mina animili. What's the makor for this halacha? Meaning, according to Tana Kama that says that the mitzvah is only for the man, what's the makor? For the lady, we have a makor. It says Vayvarech otam, but for the Rabbi Yochanan ben Beroka. What about the Tana Kama? So Amar Rabbi Ilah Mishum Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon Amar Kura. It says the pasuk says like this: Umilu'u et haaretz vekivshuha. You have to part of pirya v'rivya. It says peru urvu, multiply. Umil'u et haaretz vekivshuha, and fill the land and conquer it. So from that word vekivshuha, conquer it, says the Gemara, ish darko lichbosh. Ve'en isha darka lichbosh. When conquering is something that's a man's attribute. It's not a woman's attribute. Right. A man has the drive and desire to conquer and to earn and to, make money and to, he has that ambition. A lady doesn't a lady doesn't have the ambition to conquer the way that a man does. So they say from the word kivshuha, it's referring to a man. So the Gemara says, Adarabba, v'kivshuha, tarti mashma. The Gemara says, yeah, but if you look at the grammar of the word, v'kivshuha is plural. It's talking to two people, the man and the woman. It doesn't say v'kivsha to a single person. It says kivshuha. What? It's no. It's that doesn't have to do with what's it called? Yeah, that's because the land is like it's going on aretz. Peru avu meluta aretz v'kivshuha, conquer her, the land. The land is feminine because it's like eretz tova, right? You don't say eretz tov, eretz tova. The aretz hatova shenatan lach. It's you refer to the aretz as nekeva. So kivshuha is going on the land. So tarti mashma. It sounds like he's talking to two people, which would include the woman. So Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak v'kivsha ketiv. The pasuk is missing a vav. If you look inside the Sefer Torah, it doesn't say kivshuha with a vav. We pronounce it like that, but it's written just v'kivsha, conquer it, conquer her, talking to a single person. So it's going only on the man. Rav Yosef Amar Mehacha. Rav Yosef says I have a different makor for how we know that the mitzvah pirya v'rivya is only for the man. It says Ani kel shakai pere urve. So this is a pasuk. This is a different pasuk. This is Hashem talking to Avraham Avinu. So Hashem says, "Pere urve," you to Avraham Avinu. Pere urve, you become fruitful and multiply. Lo kamar peru urvu. It doesn't say peru urvu, meaning by right. They said by Adam and Chava that peru urvu was just Tosfot says that was just a bracha. But over here, Hashem is telling Avraham Avinu as a commandment, Pereh Urveh. That's only to Avram, only to the man. V'amar Rabbi Ilah mishum Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. Keshem shemitzvah la'adam lomar davar hanishma, kach mitzvah la'adam shelo lomar davar she'eno nishma. Just like there's a mitzvah for a person to say something that will be heard, meaning if he sees someone doing something wrong, and he has the ability to stop them and they'll listen, it's a mitzvah for him to speak up and to stop them. So the same way that it's a mitzvah for him to speak up when his voice will be heard and people will listen, It's a mitzvah for him to keep quiet when he knows people will not listen. Rabbi Abba Omer Chova. Rabbi Abba says not only a mitzvah to keep quiet, it's obligatory. He has to keep quiet. Sometimes by talking and being pushy when people are not going to listen, you're making things worse. You're pushing it further away. Shnei Amar, the pasuk says, Al tochach letz. Don't give tochacha. Don't rebuke a letz, someone who's doesn't really care, who's acting like a fool. Pen yisnaecha. Maybe he's going to end up hating you, meaning it's going to drive him further away. It's going to wedge the relationship between you, and he's not going to want to listen in the future, and he's not going to care. But says the pasuk, hocheach lechacham v'yehavecha. But if you give tochacha to a chacham and you help him improve, he's going to love you because he understands that it's coming from a good place and it'll bring the relationship closer together. Amar Rabbi Ilah Mishum Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. These are all statements. Once we mentioned Rabbi Ilah teaching something in the name of Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon, so the Gemara brings a few different teachings. It says Mutar lo la'adam lishanot bedavar shalom. Very famous Gemara. A person is allowed to lie for shalom. Shnei Amar says in the pasuk Avicha tziva ko tomru leYosef ana sana v'gomer. It says in the pasuk, the brothers came to Yosef after Yaakov died, and they said, Yaakov told us, he commanded us that you have to forgive us. So Yaakov never said anything. Yaakov never said that, but because of shalom, they changed. They made something up. Rabbi Natan Omer.
They said because of the scare from their life, not the shalom.
Yeah, but they wanted to make shalom. That was the whole point. They didn't want there to be machloket. They're scared because they felt like there was machloket. But in order for there to be shalom, they bended the truth. So Rabbi Natan Omer mitzvah. Rabbi Natan says not only it's mutar, but it's a mitzvah. How do you say it's a mitzvah? Shneimar vayomer Shemuel ech elech v'shama Shaul v'harageni. So Shemuel was supposed to go anoint David as Melech. Shmuel and Navi was supposed to go anoint David as Melech. Problem is, Shaul is still Melech. So he says, what am I going to do? How am I going to go there? Shaul is going to find out and he's going to kill me. So Hashem tells him, okay, go take some animals, say that you're going to bring a korban, and that's why you'll go there. So you see that Hashem told him to to lie. Right? He was going to anoint. Hashem said, go tell him that you're going to bring a korban. So Hashem told him to do that. So not only is it mutar, but it's mitzvah. Deber b'Yishmael Tana Gadol HaShalom Shaf HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shina Bo. And this is the famous Makor. He says that Gadol HaShalom, Shalom is so great that even Hashem himself changed what was said because of Shalom, in order to preserve Shalom. Right, so there's the Makor is that Avraham Avinu, when Sarah was told that she was going to have children, right, she laughed and she said, that how am I going to give birth? My husband is old. But when Hashem came and he told Avram, he said, Lama zet sachakat Sarah lemor ha'afum nameled va'ani zakanti. She said that she herself is old. So really Sarah said, my husband is old, but Hashem, when he was telling Avram, she said, I'm old. So that's the famous Makor. Huh?
Avram would get upset that the wife said, oh, my husband is old. Not
This is the famous Makor. So it's just, you should know there are tshuvas, like the Ben Ish Chai has a tshuva, others have a tshuva. It's not so simple that you can just make up whatever you want to preserve shalom. But the concept is true, but how and when it applies, that takes chokhmah.
It shouldn't damage the other side. As long as it doesn't damage the other side, the lie is okay.
That's not necessarily a full-on rule. That's not true, that if it doesn't damage the other side, a lie is okay. If it's to preserve shalom and it's not damaging anybody, and it fits the criteria of being for the purpose of shalom, so then yes. But
if you're on a date and you say some lie to the date, what's going to happen?
what's going to happen. If you eat
As
not
long as
kosher,
the
what's going
lie,
to happen?
as long as the lie is something is not too, you don't bluff too much. You know what I mean? Oh, I have money. You don't have to say, I'm rich. I have money. You know what I mean? Even if you don't have it, you could lie a little bit. That works out. As long as that doesn't damage the. I don't know. That used to say.
Not necessarily. A person, there is a concept of like embellishing a little bit to like get a message across or something like that. But to full on lie there's not really a heter for it unless it's l'shalom or something like that. But I'm thinking if a person is asked on a date,
he wants to get married with that girl. What's the difference? He says shalom.
No, but there you can't.
I know, as long as it doesn't damage too much.
Okay.
Okay.
Itmar, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, Chad Amar Halacha. So this is Rabbi Yochanan ben Broga, right? We had a machlok in the Mishnah. Is Pirya V'Rivya a mitzvah for the man only, or Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says it's a mitzvah on the man and on the woman? So Itmar, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. So there's a machlok between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Chad Amar Halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. One of them says halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, that the woman also has Pirya V'Rivya. Chad Amar ein halacha. The other one says halacha is not like Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, and the Pirya V'Rivya is only for the man. He says ein halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. So we don't know who says what, but we have a machlok between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yoshua. One says halacha is that Pirya V'Rivya is for the lady as well. One says not. So tistayem Rabbi Yochanan udamar ein halacha.
The mitzvah of it, or just
the mitzvah of Pirya V'Rivya, yeah. So tistayem Rabbi Yochanan udamar ein halacha. The Gemara says it makes sense that it would be Rabbi Yochanan who's the one that says halacha is not like Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka and Pirya V'Rivya is only for the man. Now, why would we say that he says that? Diyativ Rabbi Avau v'kamar, because one time Rabbi Avau was sitting, v'kamar shmei de Rabbi Yochanan halacha, and he said, Boker Tov, Boker Tov. He said he was Rabbi Avau was one time sitting in front of a few rabbanim, and he said that in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that halacha is that women are also chayavot in Pirya V'Rivya. So he said this. V'adrinu Rabbi Ami Rabbi Asi la'apayon. Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi, they turned back, they looked at him like with a face of like, what are you saying? It's not true. So one rabbi, Rabbi Avau, he said, Rabbi Yochanan says halacha is that Pirya V'Rivya applies to women also. They turned around, they looked at him, they said, it's not true. What are you talking about? So you see that really Rabbi Yochanan didn't hold that way. Vika da'amrei, Rabbi Chia bar Abba amar, v'adrinu Rabbi Amar Rabbi Asi la'apayu. Some say that it was Rabbi Chia bar Abba who got up and said halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Yochanan holds halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, and he switched it up. So Amar Rav Papa. Rav Papa said, so we have two versions of exactly what happened. Yeah, one version is Rabbi Avahu said Rabbi Yochanan holds that Pirya V'Rivya applies to women, and they looked back at him and they shut him down. The other version is Rabbi Chia bar Abba said Rabbi Yochanan holds Pirya V'Rivya applies to women, and they turned around and they shut him down. So says the Gemara, Bishlama leman damar Rabbi Avahu amara mishum kavod bekesar lo amru lev lo midi. So according to the opinion that says Rabbi Abba according to the one that says Rabbi Avau was the one that said, Rabbi Yochanan holds halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka and women are Pirya V'Rivya, and they looked back at him with a face like, they didn't say anything to him. This is what the problem Gemara is picking up on. He said, Rabbi Yochanan holds halacha is that Pirya V'Rivya applies to women. And the two Rabbanim turned back at him. They didn't say, what are you doing? That's wrong. This is not correct. They turned back at him like in a quiet way, not to, be loud. And they said, this is not true, like very quietly. So, according to the Mandamar that it was Rabbi Avau, it makes sense that they didn't say anything out loud. Mishum kavod bekesar, because of the kavod of the government. He was close to the government. He was an honorable person, so they didn't want to turn around and tell him, what you're saying is wrong. So they looked at him in a way that he understood that it was wrong. That's why lo amru lo midi. That's why they didn't say anything. But if you say the story really happened with Rabbi Chia bar Abba, and he's the one that said it, why didn't they just tell him straight out? Rabbi Yochanan never said this. So either way, the Gemara says, okay, either way, my havala. What's back to our discussion? What's the deal? At the end of the day, does Pirya V'Rivya apply to women or men also? I mean, to women also or just men? So Tashema, Amar Rabbi Acha Bar Chanina Amar Rabbi Avau Amar Rabbi Asi. So this is a statement traced back to Rabbi Asi. Uv dahava kamed Rabbi Yochanan bichnishta de Kesari. So there was a story that happened with Rabbi Yochanan in the Beit Knesset in Kesari. V'amar yotzi v'eiten ketuva. So what was the story that happened? So a lady came and she complained. Right, Rashi says he tov'ato legarasha lefi shelo hayu la banim. She came to Beit Din. She says, "Listen, I want to get divorced. My husband is not giving me children. He's not able to have children. I want to get divorced." So if she has a chiyuv of Pirya V'Rivya, then she has a good claim. Okay, you have a chiyuv to have children. He's holding you back. Okay, so you have to get divorced. But if she doesn't have that claim, we can't force a divorce. So what happened? What did Rabbi Yochanan do? He said, Yotzi v'eiten ketubah. The guy has to divorce and give a ketubah. It sounds like she has a chiyuv to have Pirya V'Rivya, and that's why we can force him and we can say, listen, you have to give a get. So v'isal kadatach lo mepakeda. If you hold that she's not commanded on Pirya V'Rivya, so ketubah mayavite. Why is she able to force him to divorce and give the ketubah? It sounds like she's holding him back, and she has a claim. She has a solid claim. So the Gemara says, Dilma beba'a mechamat tahana. Maybe her claim wasn't that he's stopping me from fulfilling Pirya V'Rivya, and I have a chiyuv of Pirya V'Rivya. Maybe she had a different claim, and this claim has some power in halacha. What would the claim be? Ki ahi da'atai lekamed Rabbi Ami. Like the case that one time somebody came to Rabbi Ami. Amra le havli ketubah. So she said to Rabbi Ami, listen, I want my husband to divorce me and give me ketubah. V'amar la zil lo mepakedat. He told her, listen, I'm sorry, you have no chiyuv of Pirya V'Rivya. You cannot force him to divorce you because you don't have kids. If you had a chiyuv, so you can say, listen, I have a chiyuv, I want to marry somebody else and fulfill the chiyuv. You don't have a chiyuv. You cannot force him to divorce you and give you ketubah. If you wanna be divorced and you wanna force him to divorce, you have no right to get a ketubah, because if you were commanded to do Pirya V'Rivya, you have a good claim that he's holding back something from you. Okay, so then he has to give the ketubah. But if not, you have the halacha of a moredet, that you're going against your husband. He doesn't have a chiyuv to give you ketubah. So Amrale, so she said back to him, she said back to Rabbi Ami, Misivu dile maiti have'ala. When he gets old, what's gonna be with me? I need children to take care of me. It's true, maybe I don't have a commandment for Pirya V'Rivya, but I have a claim here.
What kind of situation?
I need children to take care. One second, let's read one more line. Right? Dehach etita amar kiha vaday kafinan. Right? It says that this lady who said like this, for sure we force. Meaning this was a good claim, because she's saying my husband is holding me back from something. I need children to take care of me in my old age. Generally the man is going to die before the woman, and she's going to be left alone. She said, I want children to take care of me in my old age. That's a good claim, he said. That yotzi v'eiten ketubah. For that claim, she's right. She can force him to give the ketubah. What does this have to do with Chana?
Chana, when he went to she was crying and asking Hashem, oh, you gave me breast, I cannot feed. Why you give me the breast? Why give me this one? Why I need? She's complaining, hospital, complaining to Hashem. You give me this one, but you don't give it to kids.
Right.
That's part is another issue. Yeah.
Right. Right. I mean, that doesn't necessarily have to do with the discussion of whether
Hashem gives you breast for the lady. For what? To feed the baby.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right, that was her claim. That's right. That was one of her claims. Yehahi da'atai lekame de Rav Nachman. So there was a lady also one time came to Rav Nachman. I think it's a similar story. Amar la lo mipakitat. So she came to Rav Nachman. She said, I want my husband to give me a get and pay my ketubah because I want to marry somebody else because he's not having children with me. He's not able to fulfill Peri Avivia. So Amar le lo baya hach etita chutra liyada umar lekvura. So she said back to him, right? He said, you don't have a chiyuv of Peri Avivia. I'm sorry, there's nothing I could do. I can't make him pay you the ketubah. So she said back to him, don't I need a stick for my hand and a shovel to bury me? Meaning I need children to take care of me when I'm alive and even after I pass away. So Amar Kiha Vadai Kaifina. And so he said, a case like this claim, that's we have to force him to Yotzi Veitin Ketubah, to give a get and to give a Ketubah so that she can marry somebody else and have the opportunity to have children. Yehuda v'Chizkiya Teumim Hayu. So Yehuda and Chizkiya, they were twins. They were the sons of Rebbe Chia. Echad nigmerat tzurato lesof tisha, ve'echad nigmerat tzurato litchilat shiva. One of them, very interesting scenario. They were twins. One of them was born 7 months, and the other one was born 9 months. One of them was completed and born at 7 months. One of them was completed and born at 9 months. Yeah. So Yehudit devitu de Rebbe Chia. Their mother was Yehudit, the wife of Rebbe Chia. So Havelat Tsar Leda. She would have a tremendous amount of pain during birth. So Shenai Mana Va'atia Lekame de Rebbe Chia. So what did she do? She changed her clothes. She put on a costume so that her husband won't recognize her somehow. And she came and as if another lady coming to ask Rebbe Chia a question. So she came. Amra etita mipakida Peri Avivia. She said, is a woman commanded to do Peri Avivia or no? So Amar la lo. So he told her no. Now the Mefarshim explained she already had twin girls and twin boys. Now the question was, does a woman have to, she already did Peri Avivia. Her husband has fulfilled Peri Avivia. Does she have a chiyuv to have more children? So he said no. So Azla Ashti Asama da Akrata. So what did she do? She went and she drank what's called a kos shel akarin. She drank something that made herself not able to have children anymore. Some type of poison that made her not able to have children anymore. So because once he told her women are not chayav in Peri Avivia, so she said, okay, I'm not chayav in Peri Avivia. He told me I don't have to populate the world more, so I don't want to get pregnant anymore. So she did something to herself that made it that she cannot get pregnant. So lesof iglai milta. So at the end, it came out that this is his wife and this is what happened and that's what she did. So Amar la, so he told her, Ichu yaldad li chada karsa achrina. She said, if you would have only given me one more pregnancy, one more stomach, meaning one more set of twins, because she had 2 sets of twins. Damar mar, Yehuda v'Chizkiya ache. Yehuda and Chizkiya were brothers, they were twins. And Pazi v'Tavi achvata. Pazi and Tavi, they were achvata, they were sisters. They were also twins. So she had a set of twin boys, a set of twin girls, and he said, if only would have had one more set before you had this. So this Gemara is actually very important. It's quoted in halacha a little bit when it comes to different types of birth controls for a woman, whether it's mutar, when it's mutar, is a very, very big sugya. It has to do with also the Gemara that we saw much earlier, Daf Yud Gimel, Daf Yud Tet, about women taking birth control, women taking things that will cause them not to become pregnant.
Because that's their life. They said this is their body. She doesn't want to. This is the only reason that if the man cannot force the lady, his wife, to not get pregnant, but the lady.
So it's a big sugya in halacha mishamesh b'moch. It's a sugya of zer levatala. Is a person over an aseh? Is a person over a lav? It's a very, very big sugya in halacha. Very big sugya in halacha. Every situation requires a heter. It's not it depends on the scenario and what the reason is. It depends on the emotional state of the person and the physical state but it depends on were they already mekayem pirivya, were they not, and even if they were or weren't, where are they holding emotionally, and that's where the whole sugya begins. If it does. It does. It has.
But if they do different kind of pills, still the person.
Okay, so now you're already getting to the next step. But I'm saying the sugya is a sugya of Zeh Levatala. It's really not so simple. It's a very, very deep, large, wide sugya. Many poskim, many teshuvot. This is just one small little line here that really is majorly outside of the sugya, but it's an important gemara when it comes to the discussion. That a woman could take a kos shel akarim. Okay, either way. V'ha'amar, so the Gemara says, v'lo mefakti, so what? You're telling me that at the end of the day, women have no chiyuv of pirya v'rivya? V'ha'amar Rav Acha bar Rav Kitina, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. So we have a statement from Rabbi Yitzchak. It says, Ma'aseh be'isha achat, shechetzia shivcha, v'chetzia bat chorin. So there was a story with a lady who was half shivcha, half bat chorin. What does that mean? Meaning she had originally she was a shivcha who had two owners. One of the owners freed her. So now the problem is that
she got another owner. She's a shivcha.
She's one owner never freed her. One owner freed her. So she's half shivcha, half bat chorin. Problem is, who's going to marry her? Because a regular Yisrael cannot marry her because part of her is a shivcha. And, Eved Kanani cannot marry her because part of her is bat chorin. So who's she going to marry? So she was stuck over there. So v'kafu et rabbah v'asa bat chorin. So they forced her to make her bat chorin. Now, if you hold she has a chiyuv of pirya v'rivya, then it makes sense. So she has to get married, she has to have children, she has to do the mitzvah. So they forced her to force the other master to release her so she could be fully bat chorin and do the mitzvah. That makes sense. But if you say women don't have a chiyuv of pirya v'rivya, why are you forcing the master to let her go? So Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, he says, Rabbi Nachman bar Yitzchak says, no, that wasn't the case. The case wasn't that she was needed to fulfill Pirya V'rivya. The problem was minhag hefker nahaguba. People were having znut with her because nobody could marry her, so they were just they were treating her behefkerut and having znut. Therefore, they freed her so that people are not gonna have znut, and she's gonna get married and have it.
They said if the girl, one boy likes the boy, likes this girl, she has to be convert first, she has to convert not because want to marry him, because that's